Hello, welcome to our daily V News, and let's have a look at the headlines.
The Iranian president begins a two-day official visit to Vietnam as guest of President Trung Tan Sang. The 10th International Symposium of the Southeast Asia Water Environment opens in Hanoi. Hanoi beats Indonesia's second biggest city of Surabaya for the right to stage ASEAN 2019.
Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad began his two-day official visit to Vietnam on November 9th as guest of President Trung Tan Sang. This is the highest level one made by an Iranian leader since 1995.
The visit, at a time when Vietnam and Iran is heading to their 40th anniversary of diplomatic ties, is expected to further consolidate and strengthen multifaceted cooperation between the two countries. During their talks, after the welcoming ceremony, the two presidents expressed their satisfaction at the development of the relations between the two countries ever since they established diplomatic ties in 1973. The Iranian president expressed his delight to visit Vietnam and praised Vietnam's socio-economic development during the past years. He emphasized that Iran highly values the role that Vietnam plays as a responsible and trustful member of the international community. The two presidents also discussed regional and international issues of mutual concern, affirming their determination to continue to deepen the traditional friendship between the two countries.
During the visit, the Danish Prime Minister held Thorning-Schmidt, which concludes on November 9th, Vietnamese party and state leaders have all affirmed the country's policy to boost multifaceted cooperation with Denmark.
At the reception for Danish Prime Minister held Thorning-Schmidt in Hanoi on November 8th, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Nguyễn Phú Trọng said he hopes Denmark will continue supporting Vietnam. Thorning-Schmidt said the Danish government will continue boosting cooperation with Vietnam in effectively implementing the joint declaration on establishing the strategic partnership in climate change, energy, environment, and green growth, as well as bringing the bilateral ties to a comprehensive partnership. The same day, at a meeting with President Trung Tan Sang, Thorning-Schmidt said Vietnam is among 10 countries Denmark has selected for building cooperation strategy for the future. She also said Denmark is encouraging its businesses to invest in energy, healthcare, education, and seafood processing in Vietnam. President Sang promised that the Vietnamese government will create all possible favorable conditions for Danish businesses to operate effectively in Vietnam. Speaking highly of the talks between the two countries' prime ministers, Sang said he hopes the two governments will work out effective cooperation programs to deepen the two nations' friendship. The same day, Thorning-Schmidt launched a new growth campaign for Vietnam at a press briefing. She said the event will further strengthen strategic partnership between Denmark and Vietnam, with the priority being given to trade.
The Supreme People's Procuracy has reached agreement with its Russian counterpart on cooperation in legal research and law building. This is one of the results of a visit to Russia by Prosecutor General Nguyễn Hòa Bình.
During the visit, the delegation held talks with Russian Deputy Prosecutor General Alexander Svagenstev and worked with some relevant agencies of the Russian procuracy sector on a cooperation program for the next 2 years, focusing on promoting the exchange of visits, with a highlight of Svagenstev's Vietnam visit in 2013. The two procuracy agencies will combat transnational crime while improving the quality of human resources and sharing experience in scientific research and lawmaking to revamp Vietnam's legal system. During discussions, Vietnam supported Russia's initiative to extend the function of its procuracy, while Russia backed Vietnam's bid for its entry to the International Association of Prosecutors. Both sides also pledged to protect the legitimate rights of Vietnamese citizens in Russia, as well as Russian citizens in Vietnam. They believe that the cooperation between the Vietnam Supreme People's Procuracy and the Procuracy of the Russian Federation will continue to grow and flourish in the near future.
A new international border gate linking the mountainous northern province of Lào and China's Yunnan province has just been officially opened to traffic.
As part of the Lào-Cai-Khor Khẩu International Border Gate, the Kim Thanh No. 2 crossing serves as an important link for trade flow in the coming Lào-Cai-Hanoi-Hải Phòng economic corridor. Speaking at the inauguration ceremony on November 8th, Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, Nguyễn Văn Vinh, pledged to facilitate trade and exchange between the country's businesses and people, creating a gateway for cooperation, peace and friendship for local and regional socio-economic development as part of global integration.
The 10th International Symposium of the Southeast Asian Water Environment opened in Hanoi on November 9th. The two-day event brought together Vietnamese and foreign officials, researchers and experts in the field.
The event was jointly organised by the Hanoi University of Civil Engineering, the Research Centre for Water Environment Technology under the University of Tokyo, and the Southeast Asia Centre for Water Environment Technology of the Asian Institute of Technology. The conference's agenda focuses on climate change and the environment, urban flooding, environmental technologies, wastewater treatment and water resource management.
Just a treated water is not so good enough to reuse, but we can add additional treatment. Might be this is good enough for us to use some not drinking, not kitchen water, but still we can use the irrigations, or we can use to make a waterfront or water amenity. It is really nice idea. Yesterday I visited to the new development. They also try to use this water for the lake.
During the conference, several projects will be presented with the Award for Asian Young Professional on Water Research, with support from the Akai Scholarship Fund. Established in 2003, the annual event provides researchers and policymakers from countries around the world with a venue to exchange experiences and knowledge concerning environmental issues on water.
Hanoi has won the race to host the 18th Asian Games in 2019. The decision was made at the Olympic Council of Asia's meeting on November 8 in China's Macau Special Administrative Region.
The Olympic Council of Asia announced that Hanoi beat Indonesia's second biggest city of Surabaya for the right to stage the 18th Asian Games in 2019, or ASEAN 2019, after Dubai in the United Arab Emirates pulled out at the last minutes. Minister of Culture, Sports and Tourism Hoàng Tuấn Anh said the Vietnamese government and people are eager for the event, which is expected to help the country and its hospitable people get closer to international friends, third, strengthening the friendship between Vietnam and other countries. Vietnam estimated that preparations for the 19th Asian Games will cost the country some $150 million, taking into account the fact that 80% of the required venues have been built and only needs to be upgraded to meet international standards. ASEAN 18th is scheduled for November 2019 and will last 16 days. The 17th Asian Games will be held in Incheon, the Republic of Korea, in 2014.
In Ho Chi Minh City, there is a market on Võ Văn Kiệt Street called a Russian market, where both sellers and buyers can communicate in Russian. The market sells all sorts of goods, from clothes and shoes to souvenirs and more.
The Russian market, with more than 100 kiosks, covers nearly 2,000 square meters in the central garden building. Core products available in the market are made-in-Vietnam garments, amongst other things, to meet the demand of the Russian community in the city. There are now many Russians living and working in Vietnam. We feel the products sold here are of high quality and reasonable prices. We buy them for gifts as well as for our own use. Shoppers can also find food imported from Russia, such as salmon roe, cheese, sunflower seeds and pistachio nuts. Matryoshka dolls and roly-poly toys can also be found at the market. The Russian market has become a popular shopping mall for visitors to HCM City. Customers are now much choosier than in the past. Therefore, we have to select very carefully what to sell in the market. The products must be varied and suitable for European style. Though only a shopping mall, in the mind of people who once lived and studied in Russia, it is also a place for them to recall their memories of the beloved country, beautiful Russia.
That comes to the end of our news today. Thank you for joining us and see you next time.